Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a first impressions and review of the new COVERGIRL True Naked Eyeshadow palettes. I have them here in the shades Goldens and Nudes. So I picked these two eyeshadow palettes up from Priceline for 16.06 Australian. They are normally $22.95 full price. So here is the packaging. It's just got a plastic lid and really nice rose gold lettering on the front. And just on the back, you get the shade names and the weight of the eyeshadows, which I was very surprised to find out you only get 6.5 grams in the whole palette, which works out to not even a gram per eyeshadow. So that is pretty low. So I'll just take off the sticky tab now, closing the eyeshadow palette. I hate when drugstore palettes do these because it always leaves a little mark on it and you can never get them off properly. Yep. So that is definitely going to leave a mark, and it's just a pull one that's attached to the sticker on the back. So yeah, as you can see, it's quite sticky on the front now over that really nice rose gold font. Okay, so when you open the plastic lid, here are the 8 shades in the golden palette. And you get a dual-ended eyeshadow sponge applicator. Let me know, guys, do any of you still use these in palettes? I don't know why drugstore brands keep on including these in eyeshadows, because I'm pretty sure everyone has at least a basic set of haired brushes at home. And I don't know, I just find the sponge tips not useful at all. So I'll probably end up just chucking that one out. So here is a close-up of the Goldens eyeshadow palette. As you can see, there's a lot of gold and olive tones, as well as a really nice bronze colour and a few lighter shades as well. You only get 2 matte shades in this palette and 6 shimmer. And the 2 matte shades actually have glitter particles in them as well, so they're not completely matte. And here is the Nudes eyeshadow palette. It's more of a neutral palette. It's got a few more cooler colours. So in this one you get 4 matte shades, which is a bit better than the Goldens palette. But again, they do have glitter particles in them. So to be honest, I would have preferred if they were just flat matte shades. Okay, so now onto the swatches. First, I'm going to do the Goldens palette. So the first colour here is called Creme, and it's just a light, sort of yellow-based vanilla matte shade. And this one swatches not too bad. It's pretty powdery, but as you will learn soon enough, every colour in this palette is powdery. Here is the next shade called Chiffon, and this one is just looks like just a nice shimmery champagne colour. This one is quite chunky. It's not too bad. With pigmentation, you could definitely build it up. Okay, so the next one is called Cookie, and this one is a light matte taupe colour. So it's just a cool brown, but it does have a few glitter particles in it. This one is not too bad, and it's not as powdery as the other shades as well, and it will definitely be handy just for a transition colour. So this one is called Sunkissed, and it's just a true gold. This one is one of my favourites across the 2 palettes. It's definitely very pigmented with the finger. It's a little bit chunky with the brush wash, but if you either apply like Fix Plus or wet your brush, I think you'll be fine. And this next shade is called Camel, and it's just a medium shimmery olive green shade. This one is quite nice. It applies quite well with the brush. As you can see, it looks almost exactly the same as the finger swatch. And this next shade is called Ginger, and it's just a warm shimmery brown shade. This one also applies really well like the previous colour, and also applies well with the brush swatch as well. All of these dark shimmery shades are actually quite good in the palette. I know I was complaining how there's not enough mattes in this palette, but at least they have a good shimmer formula if they're going to include a lot of the shimmers. So this next shade is called Accrue. As you can see, it flicked off a huge chunk of eyeshadow just on the table there. So that shows how powdery this formula really is. This colour is a nice dark olive shade. I think it does look too similar on the eye though to justify having that colour and the lighter olive shade in the same palette though. And to be honest, I probably would have preferred a dark brown shade instead of both of these olive colours. This one does perform quite well with the brush, but I think the first olive shade performs a bit better. And then this last shade is called Sierra, and it's just a shimmery off black colour. This one, again, as you can see, kicks off a lot of fallout onto the table when I swatch it. So it's definitely powdery, but it is a nice deep colour. So here are all of the swatches. I'm pretty happy with the dark shades. Like I said, I'm annoyed they didn't include more mattes, but then again, the mattes in this palette that they have included aren't very good. The first colour and then the light taupe brown. All of them do have a lot of kickback though, so be prepared when you're using these shadows, even when you're applying them, not just finger swatching, they will have a lot of fallout. Okay, so now I'm going to swatch the nudes palette. So the first colour is called Buff, and it's just a shimmery light vanilla shade. This one is very powdery and not as creamy as I would like it to be. This next one is called Shell, and it's a more matte version of the first shade. It does still have glitter particles in it though. I much prefer this one. As you can see, it's heaps more pigmented. Okay, this next shade is called Champagne, and as you can see, it's so chunky, literally a huge chunk of eyeshadow just flicked off. This one, just like the name suggests, is a pinky champagne shade. It almost applies better with the brush, I noticed as well. It's just the fallout is crazy, and that kind of puts me off using this colour. Okay, this next shade is called Fawn. It's just a light cool brown in a matte formula that's perfect for transition. This one, again, super powdery, just powder flying everywhere when I apply this one. I also noticed that this colour looks almost the exact same as the colour Cookie in the Goldens palette. And I reckon it might be the same shade and they've just popped it in both. So this next colour is Mink. And it is a medium shimmery taupe brown shade. This one is quite nice actually. It's pretty pigmented and applies well with a brush. This next one is called Cocoa, and it's just a dark, rich chocolate brown shade. It's matte, but once again has glitter in it. This one's pretty good and isn't too powdery, but again, expect some fallout. And this next shade is Coffee, and it's just a dark shimmery brown shade, almost exactly the same as Cocoa, but just in a shimmery formula, which I've decided I do prefer in these CoverGirl palettes. And the last shade is Sable, which appears to be a matte black. For drugstore and for the price I paid, I'm actually pretty impressed with this black shade. I know that in so many palettes, the matte black is always a dud and it's always so sheer. But in these palettes, I'm actually pretty happy. So here are the swatches all together for the Nudes palette. As you can see on the table, so much fallout and so much loose powder everywhere. These eyeshadows, that's their major drawback for me. They are pretty good though, and I think I prefer this Nudes palette over the Goldens just because they are more wearable shades and you get a few more matte colours as well. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys the aftermath of these swatches and how bad my palettes looked after. As you can see, so much fallout and kickback from these eyeshadows. It's crazy. Here's a close-up as well. So this is just something to keep in mind when buying these palettes. Okay, so overall, I give these palettes a 4 out of 5. I'm actually really happy with them. I like the shade selection, and I do think that they have pretty good pigmentation, especially for the price and especially for drugstore. My one complaint though, my one huge complaint, which is why they're not obviously 5 out of 5, is the kickback and the fallout. It is ridiculous how powdery these eyeshadows are, but I do recommend these palettes though. I definitely prefer the nudes palette because I think you've got a few more versatile colours. But yeah, let me know how you guys go with these. Please leave a comment, and also let me know if you guys have any other products you want me to review. Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave if you liked this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.